Hello YouTube, this is Seibenlore, bringing you more World of Warcraft lore. Let's continue talking about some of the different race and class combinations that Blizzard has released to this date. Gnome priests were introduced in the Cataclysm, but little explanation was given on why they became playable. This class-race combination does not have the neat in-game storyline or lore present in many of the other newer combinations. Yet many theories still exist on why gnomes at this point are playable as the priest class. Today I wish to discuss the two main theories on this topic and present some supporting evidence and caveats to each theory so that you may decide which you believe more. The first theory of how gnomes became priests is the idea that gnome priests are nothing more than medic troopers, who have existed among the gnome people for a very long time. Gnome medics are found throughout the irradiated city of Gnomergan, which players aid the gnomish people in trying to reclaim before the Cataclysm. Gnome medics use healing technology to heal and revive their critically injured allies, wielding weapons that produce healing forces rather than wielding the light itself. These medics are essential to the ranks of the standing gnomish army, and this explains why they were not immediately available to aid the Alliance and thus not a playable class. The medics were too preoccupied with healing the irradiated gnomes and cleaning up portions of their lost city to be of any help to the Alliance. So when the gnomes gained aid from the Alliance and established a foothold in Gnomergan, some gnome medics were finally relieved from duty and were asked to return the debt to their Alliance comrades. This theory is supported by the fact that all the gnome priest trainers carry titles such as medic or surgeon. This theory is also believed to be true because gnomes have more faith in technology and inventions and are said to have no connection to the light. Unfortunately, this theory also has many confounds. Firstly, in-game, gnome priests carry typical light-wielding spells, armor, and weapons. I do not see gnome priests going into battle with a huge gun that shoots light rays at allies healing them. Gnome priests also have access to the Shadow, an ability that priests of the light can tap into but that no gnome medic is ever seen doing. But the biggest caveat to this theory is the idea that gnomes have no connection with the light. While it is true that gnomes covet their intelligence and technology above all else, the idea that gnomes have no connection to the light isn't accurate. The idea of the light has no discrimination when it comes to the races of Azeroth, so gnomes have the capability to become in touch with it. Secondly, the gnomes' oldest and closest allies, the dwarves, are deep in the beliefs of the light, a connection that is acknowledged and respected by the gnome people. Gnomes can also be found among the ranks of the Argent Dawn, and eventually, the Argent Crusade. While one does not have to be a priest or paladin to join this order, it is still an organization that upholds the ideas of the light, meaning its gnome members at the very least have some respect for this practice. This second theory involves changes in gnomish society which lead to the first real gnome priests. Gnomes as a race are the intellectual superiors on Azeroth without question. They are great inventors and cherish knowledge over all else, yet with their great intellect came a great arrogance, the belief that the gnomish people had no creator. Some say gnomes are a very curious race, yet there was a subject that gnomes lacked curiosity to explore. This topic was the origin of their species, how the gnomes came to be on Azeroth. The gnomes did not hold an interest in discovering their creation, an interest held deeply by their closest and oldest allies, the dwarves. The dwarves had been pondering over their origins for centuries, and while information was gathered from other Titan cities, many truths were discovered in Northrend and within the Titan city of Ulduar. In Northrend, gnomes and dwarves alike discovered the Mechagnomes, a race of clockwork robots that look and sound similar to the gnomes. The original Mechagnomes also fell victim to the same curse that befell the Earthen, the curse of flesh. And just as this old god curse had turned the Earthen into dwarves, it had also turned Mechagnomes into the gnomes we know today. This came as a huge shock to the gnomish society. The idea that the entire gnome race was crafted for a purpose by figures beyond their understanding was one that had never been considered. This change in cultural knowledge and understanding, according to this theory, was the cause of a booming number of gnomes who sought to practice the light, as taught by their close friends, the dwarves. This theory is supported by the idea that the light does not discriminate between the races of Azeroth, so there is no reason why the gnomes cannot wield the light like many other races can. It is also supported by the fact that gnome priests can use both light and dark magic, something that is missing with the gnome medic theory. Where this theory falls short is the idea that gnomes were not curious of their origins until the exploration of Northrend. With the intelligence of the gnomes and their curiosity of many other things about the world, it is hard to believe that they just assumed that they had always been around and that was it. Although there was no apparent lore in-game on how the gnomes could become priests in the Cataclysm, I feel like this was done intentionally by Blizzard. While more information is always a good thing, mystery and creating ideas from one's own imagination is what makes the world of Azeroth such an amazing place. Had Blizzard explained thoroughly on the ability of gnomes to become priests, these theories would never have arisen, and the creative thinking of the player base would be stifled. Perhaps a little mystery to inspire us to imagine some of these stories for ourselves is what keeps World of Warcraft special. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below which theory you preferred, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.